Hey guys, welcome to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. Jonny here. We are going to release the episode that I recorded with the up-and-coming podcast with my boy Zac Klassen earlier in the year. I'm pretty excited to share this episode with you guys. I had an amazing time with Zac. We grew up as childhood friends, but we haven't seen each other in about 15 years. So it's pretty cool to catch up, hear what he's doing. Zac is a personal trainer by day, amazing actor by night, content creator, social media influencer. The kid is doing a million things, and it's really awesome to catch up and see everything that he's getting into. We do talk about this in this episode, my experience with medicinal marijuana, which has been something that I have been pretty focused on not sharing with Jumbled, but for some reason on the up-and-coming podcast, I was feeling pretty relaxed, and we got into it a little bit. And you know what? I thought about it after, and I was a little nervous, but it's time to fight the stigma. So we're going to talk about it a little bit on this episode, and it might come up in future Jumbled episodes. Make sure you give Zac's Instagram a check. It's UC Pod on Instagram. His website, I believe, is Up and Coming Podcast or Zac Klassen. If you Google him, you'll find him. And we're going to have him on next week's episode, and we're going to do a bit of a debrief, do another podcast merge, and who knows where we'll go and what rabbit hole we'll go down. But I'm excited to have him on Jumbled, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
That's not true at all. Jonny, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good. For everyone listening to this right now, you are a kind of the childhood hero for me.
That's way too much credit.
Growing up a little bit.
Way too much credit.
You were a couple years older than me. We grew up kind of on the same block.
Yeah, same crescent,
which is crazy. I haven't seen you in, how long has it been, honestly?
Quick math, like 15 years.
Seriously? Yeah.
In person, 15 years. I know we've kind of chatted like off and on. Here and there, I see you do something on social media or whatever. You post a video and we'd have a quick chat. But like in person, I was thinking about like 15 years. And yeah. I think I saw someone sent me, it might have been Shane sent me. I don't know if you remember Shane.
Yeah, I remember Shane.
I think when you were doing a bodybuilding competition, he sent me a picture of you on stage. He's like, dude, do you remember Zac? Look at him now. And my mind just fucking exploded.
That's hilarious.
Like, wow. Like because I always have this image of you as like this younger kid, on the block. And
right.
Now you're like a full-sized man.
Yeah, dude. It's been pretty crazy, man. You know, I think it's just been a weird transition of just, you know what it is? It's just testosterone just flying through the roof, just trying new things. Yeah, let's do this. Let's commit to this. Let's commit to that. But one of the big reasons I had you on the show today is because you have your own podcast.
Yeah.
You're practicing jiu-jitsu quite a bit. And before we got on, you were just talking about how you have
cauliflower ear, the lovely
ears.
ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so the podcasting is awesome, and I'm glad we're doing this collaboration. I really like your style, and I think what's really helped boom podcasts is that long form conversation. And I listen to a lot, and there's some that run 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and attention spans are different for every person. But I really like digging into your podcast and having the conversation, different types of guests you have, and that long form conversation to me is so cool. And I think it's why podcasts are growing so quickly. And
also too, man, it's like a good way to actually know someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can really see someone on Instagram, and you judge a book by its cover, but even in an interview, right? Like even if you saw someone go on like Jimmy Fallon, like you'd be like, okay, like they just put like literally an hour into like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
10-minute skit, and it's most of the one-liners. You're not really getting a lot of the content. So,
right.
Whereas that live podcast is like, you kind of go with the good parts and the bad parts and go through it. But
I tell this to everyone, man. I think everyone should have a podcast of some sort, especially if you're into like sales
and public speaking. So I have to do a lot of public speaking for my job, and I did it a lot in university. And I hated public speaking, and everyone was like, "Well, you're pretty good at it. Like, why do you hate it?" And it's just like, just outside of my comfort zone.
Nice, Giacomo. Giacomo's getting a phone call.
Goddamn camera guys, right? It's okay. You cut the tension off of me. It's my first video podcast. So, and then I had this moment, within the past year of like really podcasting on a weekly basis where like, I don't give a shit about public speaking anymore.
Right.
And I was talking to my co-host, who's also named Zac, and he was like, do you think it's because we podcast? And
a lot of people listen to it, and you just kind of get used to that. I'm going to say some shit, and people are going to take it how they want. And you just get over it.
Well, I was talking to you about this too, right? When I used to make those comedy videos, like just people, how much like hate I would get and how much judgment I'd get. And honestly, man, that makes you just a tough person.
Absolutely.
Like it just makes you a strong person, right? Because if you like doing something so much, but you know that what's the word I'm looking for? Repercussions are just negative shit. Man, it just makes you overall just a strong person. But back to the podcasting, man. I think it's just, I think overall it's like everyone should be practicing having a conversation, I think on a daily basis.
That's 100%.
You know, whether you're podcasting or you're just sitting down and having a beer with with the boys or whatever it is. You know, well, it has to be someone new though. Like it can't be just like a regular person that you're familiar with. Like it has to be someone that you haven't really, had a connection with or whatever, and you're trying to keep a conversation going. It's being a conversationalist, man. It's a real
absolutely.
skill.
100%. I was actually talking about this in our last episode. We had a guest come on, and we are talking about comedy and where comedy is going now, and Jumbled is a comedic podcast, and just about our like society's ability to hold a conversation now with the advances of PC culture. And I'll say, like, I'm not anti-PC culture. I think we need to find a balance, because part of working through problems is being able to have a conversation and not letting emotion get through it. And I think as a society, we really struggle with that, because people can't have or struggle to have these types of conversations where you might have a different opinion than someone, and it's okay, and you can work through that and not freak out about it, and you actually get somewhere.
Right.
And that's where I think podcast in the long form really, really comes into hand. And I know we both listen to Joe Rogan. I think he's like obviously the master at it.
Yeah.
And I love that, people being able to sit down and be real, be vulnerable, like podcasts, or having a camera guy looking at you.
Yeah.
It's another level, right? But
right.
It's interesting how podcasts help develop that. So.
Right. Yeah. No, it is. It is cool, man. And I'm excited to see where it goes with everything. Because like the more this envelope is. I mean, I think went from like 12% to the American average listener to 50% for podcasting. Like that's a big jump in the last couple of years.
That's huge.
So I'm excited to see where it goes and like what that's going to lead. Because if you're seeing people have real conversations, right? If you're seeing people have real conversations and just being really authentic, and I think the more that we can just get that in the world, I think it's going to be a better place.
I'm 100% with you.
I think podcasting might save the world, Johnny.
We're working towards it. There we go.
So tell me about your podcast, man. What is it?
Yeah, so Jumbled, we're the podcast about nothing. People say we're like the Seinfeld of podcasts. So it's literally just...
That's a huge fucking compliment.
Yeah.
That might be the biggest compliment ever.
Well, maybe on content, not on success. So.
Okay.
Those Seinfeld, I feel like Seinfeld took a while to really gain that huge following, which is why it's still on the air now.
Yeah.
Though I struggle with that show. I remember as a kid, I didn't really get the humor.
I know what you mean. I didn't like it either when I first watched it.
And I watch it now and I like it, but then you think like all of their problems that they face would be solved with a cell phone.
I know.
So much of it is miscommunication or not being able to find the person. And now we have this brick that's attached to our hip. Right. But yeah, so it's two friends. I went to university with Zach, and we shoot the shit, and we bring on some guests from different areas, similar to what you're doing. We've had my tattoo artist come on and tell some crazy stories.
Oh, so it's not just like, I don't know why I had in my head it was like a jiu-jitsu podcast.
No, jiu-jitsu's come up more with a few of our guests who've been expressed some interest in it. And so I'm happy I can talk about jiu-jitsu for forever and what it's done for me, and why I think it's like probably the best martial art out there. Especially for people who are, trying to push themselves and learn how to survive under immense pressure.
Right.
So it's not jiu-jitsu based. We talk anywhere between politics, comedy, sports, fight breakdowns is a thing I like to do. But then we had a junior national bodybuilder competitor, Zach's childhood best friend, Larry Hill. He's done 2 episodes with us and talking about his process and prepping and health and fitness. So we kind of just go anywhere and down some weird rabbit holes sometimes, and hopefully it all loops back together. But we're actually coming up episode 100. We're recording episode 100.
Oh wow, you have more episodes than I do.
Yeah, we started. Well, Jumbled started, almost 2 years ago now, which is pretty crazy. And it was actually originally Zach and his cousin Joe, who's another one of our friends my friend from university, Zach's cousin, obviously. And I started doing some like just casual fact checking for him. And they would say some shit. And I think it was a lot of stuff about Canada. They would like just two Americans, right? So, you know, they know, but they don't know. And Zach's going to listen to this and be like, fuck you, Johnny. But so I just send them notes, be like, hey, you guys like fuck this up. And then they're like, well, why don't you do this kind of on a regular basis? So then I started putting together just like a quick Word document of you guys said this, and, you know, here's where you're wrong, here's where you're right, or, you know, here's some more information. And then that turned into me doing like a 5-minute bit on the podcast. So I would self-record, do a breakdown of
kind of like the ending of the show.
Yeah,
kind of
so
like fact checking.
It was called Fact Checking with Johnny, and so I would just record, and they put the Canadian anthem in it, and it was made this whole thing about it, and it was fun. And then life takes over, and Joe had to transition away from the podcast, and Zach's like, well, why don't you just come in? So I joined around episode 29, episode 30, so have quite a few under my belt now.
Dope, man.
It goes quick though, and you learn a lot, you know, as I'm sure you know, being where you're at now with the podcast, even just from equipment changes to where you're positioning the mic.
Yeah, dude, I know.
And
hiring our great cameraman here, Giacomo.
Having a camera guy helps a lot for sure. You know, you're talking about like the progress of a podcast, and we were chatting a bit before this, and the video aspect is such a critical part. And
do you guys not do video at all on your podcast? We don't.
So one of the challenges that we have right now is Zach's based out of Kansas City, and I'm in Calgary.
So it's not even, you guys don't even like connect.
No, we Skype each other, and we record our separate audio, and then we put it all together in post. So
wow,
it makes it a little bit harder. I mean, obviously video with Skype, you kind of get this feeling, but not being able to reach out and touch someone and
dude, no, it's I mean, I have a few episodes under my belt where I've Skyped people in LA and stuff, and it's a different kind of vibe.
Absolutely,
not bad. It's still cool. You know, it's better than nothing. But having this one-on-one conversation right here, seeing your movements, seeing your hands, seeing like your, you know, seeing what's going on, it's just a way better feeling, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think
it's like the self-dating of, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like going on Bumble or Tinder. It's cool, but you know,
speed dating over an hour of a podcast.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that's like the huge progress is, you know, that video aspect, and then getting it onto YouTube. And we've talked about how we can do that and what we would do to splice it together. And then it comes down to having time in post. So being able to slap audio together is the easier part. When you start getting complex with video, I think that's what's really going to, you know, take podcasts to the next level, and where you think you see a lot of the success. So,
yeah, I think, you know what, if it wasn't for video, I don't think my podcast would be where it's at right now. Because
you're so goddamn good looking.
I don't know if that's it, but if it wasn't for me being able to make like these clips for like, you know, Instagram and Facebook and stuff, I don't know, like if you were to just put an audio clip up on Instagram, it doesn't transfer over well.
Not even close.
You know what I mean? Like people are not gonna, you know,
even with a still, like you can do some stuff and it's kind of there, but most people, at least I'll speak for myself, I should say, when I'm like scanning Instagram and something comes up, I'm always on silent. And if the video doesn't captivate me, I will not open the audio. So the audio could be like the best thing in the world, but if the image of the video doesn't catch me, I just keep going.
Right.
And it's really rare that I will actually turn on the audio. Like it has to be something pretty awesome to catch my attention. And if you don't have that video aspect, you're right. People just kind of cruise on through, and it doesn't have the same impact.
So have you seen the listeners kind of slowly grow?
Absolutely. We the last time I looked at the numbers, we had 100,000 hits in September for the year 2018. So we haven't done like a full year, but we've grown pretty.
100,000 hits. That's 100,000 downloads.
No, so hits would be like not full downloads or full listens, but check-ins between like Instagram, Facebook, stuff we're posting there, podcasts. So we're definitely growing. It's weird to think that even that many people view content. You know, you mentioned in a podcast about having like 200 people following, and if you put 200 people in a room, it's a massive, like it's a lot bigger than it sounds, but social media, I think, really skews our opinions on size. So we're definitely growing. And I think part of that is similar to what you do. We just do us. Like it's not we don't design. We're not trying to cater to a specific audience.
Right.
We bring people in, and it's real conversations and just real people being themselves. And that's what I like to listen to.
Authenticity, man, will always win.
Yeah. And you know, you maybe don't get the giant burst of people looking for this niche thing. But I think the listeners that we have gained, we have a lot of regulars and a lot of consistencies. So it's pretty cool that way.
That's awesome, man. That's sweet. That was the longest plug for your own podcast ever.
Sorry.
No, that was awesome.
I'm totally going to steal this audio and add it to Jumbled. Hope that's cool. But
that's so funny. Yeah, man. I mean, I was in a coffee shop the other day, and I was like, man, just like analyze people how they look at their phones. Like everyone's on their phones. And when I actually mean that, I actually mean everyone's literally, they're on their, like, go to the Starbucks. Everyone's on their phones.
Yeah, something
And
technology.
if they put it down, count how many seconds until he picks it back up again.
Do you make a conscious effort with that? Because I get like screen reports from my phone, and that's where I really became aware of it. Where it was like, you've spent X amount of time on your phone this week, and here's how you do it. And Instagram's always number one because it's like my go-to. I'm bored. I need like I need that quick like dopamine hit. I'm just like flipping through. Like, let's look at pretty pictures.
Fuck, it's that dopamine hit. It's real, man. It's sad. Yeah. It's kind of sad though, isn't it?
It is.
Like
but
that. Yeah. Like I get up in the morning, man, and sometimes I check my phone for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, man. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, oh, nice. This has happened. Like this person DM'd me, and I'm on my phone, and I get sick to my stomach, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's totally, it's people's morning routines, right? The first thing they do, they wake up. I think part of it too is my alarm's on my phone. So my alarm goes off. I wake up, and my morning routine is I wake up around 5:30.
Right.
I like do my social media scan, like I'll look at emails if anything came in overnight, and then I'll go to the bathroom, and then I work out. But like between 5:30 and 6 is literally me just wasting fucking time.
I know, man. And if you were to accumulate that over a year, like imagine how much time you would have in that year.
So that's what I mean, the screen reports. So now it's become like a goal for me where I look at those screen reports, and if I want to keep cutting down, so I've like erased some social media from my phone, or I make the conscious effort where, for example, when you went downstairs really quick and I was chilling up here, I was like, oh, my first instinct was,
check my phone.
What's on my phone?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm in this like awesome condo in Vancouver, and there's lots of shit to look at. I'm just going to look out the window and just enjoy what's around me right now.
Nice. Did you end up taking an Instagram story of it then?
No, I did not. I did think about it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It was funny. Right. On yesterday, my wife was talking. She's like, you never post about me. She's like, we're in Vancouver, and the only thing you posted about Vancouver was doing this podcast with a childhood buddy, not like in Vancouver with my wife, like having dinner or doing this. And I was like, fuck, you're totally right. So I opened up my Instagram. I was like, I post about you every like 5 to 7 posts. I was like, is that bad? It's like, but you don't even like social media, so why do you care?
Right. Well, she just wants to make sure that you're not,
yeah,
wheeling chicks on Instagram.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Well, it's the same. You know what, man? I just think that, like, I don't know. It's true though. Like, I don't know. Public affection on social media for me. Where does that stand? Where do I stand with that? I'm into it. I think it's cool.
I think everyone likes it. And I think partially for you in your career choice, it's a job, right? Like part of it is...
Yeah, this is 100% a job.
Yeah, how you get your face out, how we were talking about how to become a successful actor or content creator, and you just have to sit down and do it.
Do it, man.
Right? You can't wait for that to hit that big audition or get that lucky role. You have to make it yourself.
Well, man, a lot of people, they think that this they see this lifestyle on social media. And I know people talk about this all the time, but they see this lifestyle on social media and they think it's this like, oh man, you're having so much fun out there. But it's like, I'm just fucking working really hard. It just looks like I'm having fun.
You're only seeing the best.
You're only seeing the best part of
the
this.
happiest parts, not you sitting at 2 a.m. grinding through editing video.
Yeah, exactly. Not me. Yeah, not sitting at getting flagged on YouTube for copywriting a song by mistake and having to delete the whole thing.
Oh man,
re-edit this whole thing and like, you know what I mean? All this bullshit. Yeah, right.
I totally got one of those no-nos from Instagram actually last week. So I did Instagram Live because I've been trying to do more and like following training. So some friends talking about, oh, like how's your training going? Getting ready for a competition in February.
Right.
So I was, at the gym doing open mats, and I had some teammates, and I was like, hey guys, I'm just going to throw this up on Instagram Live. And people were like, yeah, cool, whatever. So I just planted my phone in the corner of our gym, kind of got a view of the mats, and we had music playing in the background. I didn't think anything of it. Had some people come in, kind of chat and whatever, and then post it to my story. And then immediately Instagram's like, hey, this is flagged for copyright infringement. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But in the background, you could just barely hear the music going on.
Right.
And I was like, that's fucking creepy that they know that. I mean, obviously it's algorithms and computer program scanning, but it's like, God, you can't even listen to music.
It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. I can't even get into it. It's I mean, I've been editing so many of these videos and sketches and stuff that, man, copyright is just like it's literally the worst word to me ever.
So, and as an artist, so I was heavy in music for a while, and we talked about my like hobby ADD. So music was a big part of my life for a long time, and I've been in bands more or less off like since grade 9. And so I've recorded a few albums, and I've had a band, and we've never charged for an album. We've always like recorded it, put it up on like Bandcamp for make a donation. So you can put $0, you can put $20. Don't care. I'm just happy that someone wants to hear my shit. So if I was chilling on an Instagram story and someone pulled like a song that I wrote, like, fuck yeah, it was good enough that someone was like, I want to attach this to my work. So as an artist, I struggle with that. But on the other hand, you know, I never took it as a business. And when it's someone's business and it's how they're making money, I guess. You know,
yeah, I think it's a little bit different when you get to that, you know, when you're Drake and you know it's a banger. You're like, this is the hottest shit ever. Charge millions of dollars for this song.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna get stolen anyways.
I know.
You can't.
There's no way
can't,
around
There's
it,
no
man.
way. There's no way to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the people who are stealing it are smarter than the people who are, you know, trying to stop it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can get anything on the internet now, like literally anything.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I get like those Instagram sketches reposted all the time.
Does that bug you?
And I don't even get tagged sometimes.
See, now that piece a little bit, I could see at least tag me in it, but
Yeah.
maybe they don't know it's you. Maybe they don't know.
They probably don't even know, but I've seen them like, oh man, this has 100,000 views and I fucking made this. And I'm not even tagged. And I'll drop a comment like, hey, that's me. It just gets like left, but no one even cares.
No
No
one
one even
gives a
sees
shit,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
no one even cares. But
Do you
I don't
read
know.
the comments? So I know you read your own comments, but if you see your shit on
Dude, I
someone else,
read my own comments and stuff, but like, I really just try to stay away. I wish I didn't have to, how do I say this without sounding like ignorant? Like, I get a lot of like nice comments, and obviously I reply to every comment I possibly can. But yeah, it's just, you know what, man? If it was up to me, I wish I could just post and just not even look at it. Post, don't even look,
why don't you just do that?
because then you just, you know, that's such a douchebag thing to do. You know, someone drops a nice comment on your photo, like the least you can do is reply.
Yeah, it's a lot. I imagine that's a lot of work in itself, though.
It can be for sure.
Isn't it weird that you get that feeling of like social media? If I put something and someone comments, I feel like you. I want to comment to acknowledge that I saw, and then if they post something back, and you have this kind of like fragmented conversation of like we're both trying to be polite to each other. Of like, I want you to know that I saw what you wrote back, but where does that conversation stop? And
Right.
it's like, good job. Like, thanks, man. You're great too. Like, no, you're like this. Like,
You just
oh,
like
no.
that. You like that
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah,
that's
and
what it is.
That's
what
the
you leave it
brilliant piece to it, where you
Yeah.
just have to like
Yeah.
heart it, and
Thanks,
you're
dude.
good to go.
Yeah. What's really crazy too is like I obviously try to respond to every DM I get. So
Yeah.
every time I make an Instagram story, I get like people like talking about it or whatever. And the best thing that Instagram ever brought was that like, you know, you like the message. Like Zach liked your message. Like that's
Quick and easy.
Quick and easy, man. That's the move.
That's awesome.
You know?
Do you ever just mess with people? I mean, obviously, it's so, like armchair warriors just trolling, and you get a bad comment. Like, I'm sure it's maybe early in your career when those started happening, you probably
Right.
take them a bit personally, and now you just get jaded to it. Do you ever just fuck with them back?
I don't know, man. I think because I've had like older cousins and stuff, and like just I don't know. My girlfriend makes fun of me all the time. Like I just feel like I know I'm ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm
You
such
just own it.
I
It's
just
who you
own it.
are.
I'm such a ridiculous person. I already know this. You know what I mean? So when it comes to negative comments, it's like, dude, how is there not more negative comments? Like how is this is only this many negative comments? You know what I mean?
Is that a sign that you've hit like a great target audience? Or is it a sign that like you're not big enough, the trolls aren't picking up? Like, well, where's that balance?
I think I'm just not big enough for the trolls.
I
are
see.
picking up.
I think at your social media, I'm like, this guy's got it nailed. So
No, yeah, not even close. Not even close. Because if you look at like, I mean, if I was bigger, you would see a lot of. There would be just more negative shit, man.
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
like one of my favorite things to do when I am bored and I'm browsing Instagram is like content creator posts this, and I literally just look for the negative comments, and then I like to look at their profile and be, what?
Yeah, and it's
who
like,
are you?
and
to-
it's like they have 5 followers. They have
Yeah.
like whatever. And then there's like the profile pictures like Goku. Right?
Yeah, no, it's always something anime. Like they're not comfortable enough to put themselves
Totally.
online.
Totally, man.
Especially with anything like fight or jiu-jitsu, and like a lot of people criticizing like, oh, you lost this fight, you're garbage. You're like, oh, okay, so you must understand fighting in some way, and you click on their profile and they're morbidly obese,
Yeah.
and it's like, here's my Doritos and a samurai sword. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what, like, you don't know what you're talking about?
Totally, man. It's so ridiculous. Hey, but you were telling me about your cauliflower ears.
Yeah, so the ear, so the
'Cause
lovely.
So before we get into that though, you got into fighting how long ago?
I first started toying around with it in university. I had a friend who was an amateur MMA fighter, and he was a couple of weight classes lower than me, and he just wanted to wrestle around, and I was always, kind of a rough and tumbly kind of guy, and I was like, sure, I'll roll around, and slowly got into it for a couple of years. Moved back to Canada. I went to school in the States, and was looking around for a gym. And then I was in a really bad car accident in, would have been 2013 or 14, like on the highway, got rear-ended, like did 5 years of physio for my neck and my back. Was told that, like, you know, I might not be able to play sports, or I'll have this impact and whatnot. Like, literally had a doctor say, your martial arts career will stop at Tai Chi. Like, if you want to do any kind of martial arts, it will be Tai Chi, and that's unfortunately where you're going to be. And it was really tough to take that, because I, you know, always played sports. We're talking about when we were kids, like, we BMX'd, we skateboarded, we played street hockey, I played soccer, football. Like, I was all over the place. Like, anything outdoors, running around, I wanted to do it.
Right.
And like, being pretty new into just discovering, like, more trained fighting. So I did kickboxing, I took some boxing, I did jiu-jitsu, I took Samba. Like, I basically took my ADD, my hobby ADD, and then focused it on, like, combat sports, where I was like, I'm done with football. This is crazy to me to be in football, like in high school, and like being big and strong. And it's like, I was so dominant. And then you go to your first jiu-jitsu class, and like, there's a kid who's, you know, you have 50 pounds on, and he's absolutely dominating. You're like, how the fuck is this happening?
Right.
So I just fell in love with it. And I was just like all over the place. I wanted to learn more and more and more. So I was training pretty regularly. In that time, I also started cutting weight. So went to school to play football, and I was like 285. And then as I got more,
285.
Yeah,
man.
my heaviest was 306 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, so you remember me when we were kids, and I was like just
jacked
in high school. Yeah, because I was playing football and I was working out. I got appendicitis in grade 12, and you know, knocked me on my ass for like 2 months, and then it was like near the end of grade 12, and I was going to go play junior football. Then I missed camp because I had appendicitis, and then I'm an emotional eater. I was talking about seeing McDonald's outside your window. I was like, fuck, that's my happy place.
I think that's a slogan for McDonald's.
Yeah,
right?
well, it should be. They should sponsor me for But so I just like, and I got, you know, started falling out of sports and got more into music. And so I was just like, you know, eating and drinking, and, you know, you turn 18 and you're like, this bar scene opens up. So I was, you know, got fatter and fatter and fatter. And I was like, oh, I want to play football. Went to school, and, you know, was like, oh, well, you need to be big to play, you know, O-line. I was like, okay, great. So now I have an even better excuse to just keep eating. And then I decided that wasn't for me, and I got distracted by some other things in school, which worked out for the better. And I was like, well, maybe I should lose weight. So I remember my first week, like, I was 306 pounds, and I was like consciously trying to lose some weight, and I was kind of hovering around 285. And it's like, okay, well, I want to lose some weight. So what can I do? I was like, well, maybe I'll just stop drinking pop. Like, all right, that's a good plan. So I stopped drinking pop for like a week or 2 weeks. And I think I lost like 5 or 6 pounds.
Dude, once you cut out that pop, that's a huge. That's the biggest fucking thing, man. Pop is like literally,
deadly.
You might as well just smoke.
Yeah, for real.
Get some cigarettes too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, the next, I was like, well, what else can I do that's easy? Like, well, maybe I'll stop eating, you know, refined carbohydrates. So I tried to cut out like chips and bread, basically.
Right.
And I'd still eat like some carbs. Like, at that time, I didn't quite understand the value of carb cycling or carb cutting. And then I started working out more, and I just started going down. I remember when I hit 250, it was like this huge milestone for me. I was like, fuck yeah, like 250. I'm so happy. Like, this is great. I feel better. I feel lighter. And then, you know, started doing, you know, more combat sports and wrestling jiu-jitsu. And then I was going against people who were like 250 pounds and were jacked. And I was still like 250 pounds and like kind of fat boy. And I was always like strong, like just, like, I don't know, like farmer strong, I guess.
No, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
But
we had a shitload of muscle underneath all that.
I did, yeah. And then people always say that when I show them pictures, like, you were 306 pounds, like, you don't look it. Like, I always carried the weight really well. And then I just got addicted to like the health style, or the lifestyle and the healthy living, and working on losing weight, and got obsessed about like diet and different exercise programs, and then how that related to training. So in university, I went to play sports, and I stopped playing sports, and I got into student government. And then I had all this free time where I was like, well, I don't have to go to soccer practice. I don't have to go to football practice. I don't have to go to film.
Hey guys, let's take a second to talk about our sponsor for today, Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. The book that we are going to recommend for the month of February is, drumroll, Napalm and Silly Putty by George Carlin. This is a throwback. It was released back in 2011. Obviously, George has left this planet. He's been gone for a bit. So this is a good throwback one. It's narrated actually by George Carlin as well. Something to definitely check out, look into. If you don't know about George Carlin, then where have you been? George Carlin is one of the best comedians of all time. Highly recommend looking into this one. Again, that is Napalm and Silly Putty by George Carlin. It is 2 hours and 28 minutes long, so it's a little bit shorter, but it's still really, really good. So if you like what you hear from me, then get that. If you want to find something else, totally cool. They have over 180,000 different titles for you to find something, anything that you can relate to. And we hope that you enjoy. Thanks, Audible, and let's get back to the podcast.
So then I went to the weight room, and I had some friends, some football buddies who were like, okay, I'm going to go work out, and started at like 2 days a week. And I remember my first workout with one of the assistant football coaches. And he's like, okay, you want to lose weight? Here's what you're going to do. And I went back to eat dinner, and I couldn't lift my arms. And at first I was like, how am I going to fucking do this tomorrow? I was like, but at the same time, like this, I know that I accomplished something today. And you're talking about your last podcast, talking about doing leg day and walking around and feeling, like you called it feeling horny. I was like, you know what, that actually makes sense.
It's a real thing, right?
You 100%, it's not necessarily like a sexual horny.
No, yeah.
It's like you feel like you got up and you like put some effort and you did something and you feel good about it, right? And I just was like, I have a choice right now to say, this is too hard and I'm going to bitch out, or I'm going to accept this and own it, and this is going to be my life, and I know I'm going to get through it. And you get through that through like proper rest and diet, and you can mitigate kind of those pains, right? So then the last couple of years of university, I just got obsessed with cutting weight and got down to like 185 at one point, which was not sustainable. Like it was really more of where can I get myself to? And then I kind of hovered around 205, and I actually have a body fat receipt, and I was 208 pounds and 8% body fat. And that was like I'm good here. Like I can enjoy life a little bit. I'm pretty fit. I'm active. I was running, 4 or 5 times a day, and I was lifting weights and eating like way too much food, like way too much protein. The first time I went to Costco with my now wife, I was just buying like chicken and like everything protein. I was like, carbs were like the devil to me, and all I cared about was like, I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting heavy.
That's the biggest mistake with a lot of people that are just getting into the gym and just like trying to lose all this weight, is they fucking buy all this protein and they think this is the answer. They think this is the answer. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was competing, I had no idea what I was doing. Zero.
Did not look like it.
I know, it didn't look like it, but zero idea what I was doing, man. And I would just buy all this fucking protein, and I was making all these shakes, and I just stank. Yeah. I fucking would just, man, one little fart and it would clear out a village, man.
Are so bad.
It was disgusting.
That's the thing, though. You're totally right. Everyone's looking for that quick, easy thing. So I was like, I'm going to do like no explode. I'm going to do a protein shake. I'm going to eat all this chicken. And I did get my body to where I wanted it to be. And then after the accident, so I had, 5 years of recovery. So I got fat again because I was pretty upset about going from this super active lifestyle. I was like hiking, I was running, I was lifting weights, playing sports. I had a summer job where I was literally carrying people with physical disabilities up a mountain. Like that was my job. Was they wanted to get a hiking experience, and a Calgary engineer built. It's called the Trail Rider, and it was like kind of part wheelchair, part wheelbarrow, but like meant for off road. And I would like with a buddy, we would take that, put a person in it who was wheelchair bound, and we would just climb a fucking mountain with him. And that was like my job, and I loved it. So I went from doing all this stuff to being like, I can't put my socks on. And I had this moment with, and my wife is like incredible because she dealt with this where she got me when I was like peak physical form in my prime, like shredded, to I can't put my socks on. And she literally had to help me do that.
Damn.
To me, like going from 205 and then it was like 210 and it was 220. And as I said, I'm an emotional eater and I couldn't do anything. So I'd sit on the couch and be like, well, I guess I'll just order some McDonald's because I can't do anything about it anyways. And so part of it I probably did truthfully slow down my recovery in some ways. Like I was doing my physio and I was going to my doctor's appointments. I was doing what I was told, but would never go above and beyond because I lost that like drive. And then, I got the okay from my doctors to say, okay, we think your back and your neck is like pretty settled, like stable right now. You can start doing some stuff. My first thought was, well, I don't want to lift weights anymore. Like I lost that drive, but I knew I wanted to lose weight. And at that time I was, back up to like 275.
Right.
And I was like looking around for jiu-jitsu because I knew I missed it. And I was like, I'm big, do this and whatever. We'll see how it goes. And I did a lot of yoga, which was probably my saving grace and is probably why I caught on to jiu-jitsu like so fast, like this time where I'm actually dedicating myself to it. And I went to my first class and it was the same thing. Talked to the instructor. I was like, hey, did some training. Like I understand like the basics, the core, but it's been like a long time. So just I'm basically brand new. Like treat me as is. And I go, and that first class of just like the amount of physical activity, I hadn't done anything on that level in years, like years. And I had the exact same moment that I had when the first time around where it's like, I'm going to lose weight. Is got into my car and I sat in my car for like 15 minutes thinking like, I'm going to puke. Like I can't drive right now. I'm going to fucking puke. I'm so tired. And I got home and Al was like, how was class? I was like, it was fucking awesome. Like I learned this and I did this. And like, I'm coming home and I don't like, my neck is like mostly okay. My back is okay. And I was pretty upfront with my injuries, and my team's really good. Like any combat sport, no one's 100%, right? Like everyone has something. So you go into a role and be like, hey, like my neck's pretty jacked up, so I'd prefer if you didn't choke me out. I'm like, okay.
Wow, you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In training,
my one thing, like why I'm scared to like, not scared, but like why I'm kind of like hesitating and getting into jiu-jitsu right now, it's because I have a fucked up shoulder, man.
Well, so do I. So no excuses.
What'd you
there.
do?
Torn labrum. So I actually had surgery in 2014 for my right shoulder. It's torn labrum, rotator cuff, and bone spurs, and I have a torn labrum in my left one.
Okay.
I'm still dealing with it.
We're on the same page.
Yes, and it's common from weightlifting, right? That's probably how you got it.
Well, actually, mine was. I remember I used to do gymnastics.
Yeah,
like 15 years. Last year or 2 years ago, I thought, haven't done gymnastics in probably 5-6 years. So I went to the gymnastics place. My mind still thinks it can do it.
Yeah.
But my body can't
not
do it.
there,
My body's like 30 pounds heavier than it once was, right? So I'm in there and I'm tumbling and stuff. And I do this one move that I used to do like against the wall and stuff. And I landed right on my fucking shoulder, went right behind. And I just remember getting up and going like this, oh, fuck. And it was done, man. It was done for 6 months. And I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed.
Did you get an MRI? Like, have you done?
I haven't done shit, man. I don't trust doctors. I don't trust any of that shit. I just, honestly, man, I physioed myself.
Physio is the way.
It's not bad, but there's still times, man, where like it's just, I don't know, man. It pisses me off, dude.
Yeah, they're really annoying.
I hear a lot of Joe Rogan though, and it's just like, I'm just gonna get stem cell, whatever the fuck.
That's exactly what I'm waiting for. Go down to Panama.
Yeah,
like, dude. Let's pay the $10,000.
Yeah,
juice me up with stem cells, and I'm good to go.
Once I get some money in me, I'll just probably go that route for sure.
That's kind of what I'm waiting for too. I'm glad I got surgery on my right arm. Like it definitely made an improvement. My right arm was a lot worse.
Yeah.
My left one, I do not want to go through that surgery again. And talking to my surgeon, he's like, well, if you can manage it with physio and it will dislocate occasionally.
Right.
And I just kind of like snap it back and like deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's manageable. I would never push surgery. It's a 9-month recovery.
I'm against it. There's no way.
It has to be really bad.
The only surgery that's happening on me is if I fucking my knees or something like that. Because there's no other way to fix that.
Yeah. Well, you say that until you can't, if you get to the point where you can't lift your left arm and
that's true.
Then you're like, well, you notice your knees because you walk on them all the time. You're not always, lifting stuff.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so no one in jiu-jitsu is 100%. And that was my thing, was like, I have bad shoulders. I'm an old man now. And, I went back when I was 29. So.
And you're an old man at 29?
Well, I felt old.
Damn, that's crazy.
You're 29, but being in that car accident.
Yeah.
So 2 blown shoulders, a really fucked up neck, and a jacked up back, whereas like.
And an eating disorder.
And an eating, 100% eating disorder.
Yeah.
So I was pretty open, just saying like, I'm out of shape, obviously. I want to do this. And everyone's pretty chill. And you find that right team, and they want you to stay. They want you to keep coming back. And it's really about keeping it playful. So when people see rolling, there's like different levels of rolling. And depending on who I'm rolling with and their skill level versus my skill level or what we're working on, sometimes you'll see like really, really intense, matches where you're like, these guys are like really going at each other.
Right.
But like, I know who they are and they know me. And I know that deep down, like, they're not trying to hurt me. Like, we kind of match each other's intensity. And then there's some people where it's called flow rolling, and it's almost more like dancing. And it's really fun. And I know Joe Rogan will talk about it. Eddie Bravo loves it. It's like you show up and you get high and you're just like, just going with it, right?
Oh, wow, sweet.
Yeah, I do.
Do you blaze quite a bit?
Pardon me?
Do you smoke a lot of weed?
Yeah, not a lot. Mostly edibles. It's been transformational for my pain management.
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
So in my neck and my back issues, like I tried so many different drugs, and there's so many different side effects for that, where like I was sleepy all the time, or I was like angry all the time, or like I had no motivation or no sex drive. And like you, against surgery, I got so tired of taking all these different pills. They destroyed the lining of my stomach. And then I had a buddy who was like, medical marijuana is pretty awesome. This is actually the first time I've talked about this on a podcast. It's
Nice.
pretty crazy.
That's cool. I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I got a monkey smoking a joint right there.
Yeah, I did notice that when I was hanging out.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, well, is that a real thing? And this is a few years ago, and I did a backpacking trip, and in Denver, so it was legal. So I was like, okay, well, I'm where it's legal, so let's try it. And I had smoked weed when I was a kid, and I'd do it occasionally, but it
was never your thing.
Never, not massively.
Yeah.
So I went on this backpacking trip where I was like, well, we're gonna hike 125K in 5 days, so I need to be prepared for this. So I got a bunch of edibles, and I remember the first time I was like hiking and I took them, and I was like, oh, my back doesn't hurt. And I wasn't like super high. It was just like this weird body experience where I didn't have that constant nagging pain. Now at the end of the day, I'd feel sore, so I'd take some more and help me fall asleep. And then sleep has been an issue since the accident because I was just in pain. So I'd wake up and it'd be in pain. I couldn't fall back asleep. So then I started taking it to go to bed. I was like, okay, there's clearly something here where I'm not taking like all these painkillers all the time. So then I went to a doctor and was like, hey, here's everything that I've tried. So they look you up in the system like, oh, you tried this, and you tried this, and you tried this, and you tried this. And then I would report back like the side effects I was getting. And I was like, I want to do this. Like, I think this is going to work for me. And it's changed my life, like completely. So I go to jiu-jitsu and
sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's a CBD in the weed?
Yeah. So I do both. So I take like CBD in the morning, so that during the day, it kind of manages the inflammation and pain. And then THC to help me sleep, and at night or to relax.
Interesting.
And I'll do like, nothing crazy before I go to jiu-jitsu. I'll do like a 5 milligram edible, and I'll go to jiu-jitsu. So I'm just kind of more relaxed. I'm a little bit more nimble. I'll do all my stretches beforehand. So I show up and I'm ready to go. And you just calm down and just flow roll, which is, I think a lot of people discredit. It's really technique focused. So it's minimal muscle like pushback. So if I'm flowing with one of my instructors and he's moving me in a way, like I know if I have the option because I'm bigger than him, I can just like lock down my muscles and be like, no, you're not moving me, but I'm not using the right technique. So I'm like, okay, he's moving my arm this way. What do I need to do technique wise? And you just start to see like these two guys like just rolling around in a circle and doing techniques. And it looks more like dancing than fighting. And that's like, you just get to that, what's it called? A state of mind, like the flow state or something where you're just focused and you lose track of time. Right. So we'll flow roll and it'll be like, fuck, that was a 20-minute round we just did, and you're exhausted.
Are you drenched? Like, are you sweating?
Oh yeah.
Even just a technique kind of roll.
Yeah, just moving around, and you still have the person's weight, right? So a lot of jiu-jitsu technique is about putting pressure and control. So you can have a guy who's 150 pounds and uses the right technique, and he's on top of you. He's gonna feel like he's 250. So there is still like some resistance and pieces to that. It is like the best cardio. It's the only cardio I do now. Nice. And so starting jiu-jitsu and cutting back, like now I'm back down to, I kind of fluctuate between 205 and 210, depending on how much I can resist McDonald's. But, yeah. It's the only cardio I do. Wow. I do some kettlebell. I do a lot of kettlebell stuff. So my morning workouts now, I get up, I do some yoga, kettlebell swings, and I do like push-ups and sit-ups. I have like no desire to lift a weight other than my body or that kettlebell.
Yeah.
And I was traveling for work, and I went, and there wasn't a jiu-jitsu gym around where close enough where I would go and train. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to the weight room. And I did my old, like my bodybuilding routine where I was like, I want to be big and strong. And I was doing it. I was like, how the fuck did I do this for so long? Like, I was so in the mindset when I was like, I want to be big and strong, that I would go to the gym for 3 hours and I'd just like pick things up, put them down, pick things up, put them down.
Dude, I know what you mean.
So mentally draining.
Yeah.
Where like the challenge for jiu-jitsu, a lot of people say it's like solving a Rubik's Cube that weighs 200 pounds and is trying to beat you up.
That's fucking awesome.
So
man.
there's such a mental puzzle to
Dude,
it.
You get me kind of hyped up.
That's why I want you to do it, man. I think you'd kill it.
I love it, man. Yeah. I mean, I still got that flexibility from gymnastics still. Mm-hmm. Like I'm super, super agile right now. But the cauliflower ears kind of like, listen, I'm trying to get in the film industry here. So yeah. Can I wear those?
Yeah. Most gyms will let you wear headgear.
You can wear like, those like
a wrestling. Yeah. You can get like wrestling headgear that will help with it.
You look like a bit of a,
well, no.
Like when you're wrestling with someone like that, are you like, hey, calm down, dude?
No, I think it's really common, especially when you do get an injury. Cause once it pops, it's every time you go to class and someone hits it, it pops again. So it took mine almost 7 months to heal. And I did not want to wear headgear just because I tried it and it was a little bit uncomfortable. Like you have this thing around your neck and like your face, and then it would come off in the middle of a roll and you'd have to like stop and fix it. But like I said, not everyone gets it. Like there's some guys in my gym that have been training for 4 years and they have none. And it's really just kind of, does it get hit? Does it get bent in a wrong way? So you will likely get some of it at some point in time. Yeah. But there's ways to manage. So we're talking about, I forgot the comedian's name you were saying, but like the strudel on the side of their head.
Yeah. Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah. So that's like a decision that person has made to own it. And a lot of people who are in like the grappling martial arts see it as a badge of honor. Like you earn that because it's time on the mats, it's time under pressure, it's time getting beaten up. So a lot of people are proud of it. And I would say on some level I am too, but I have a job where I have to meet with important people and high level clients. So I don't want to walk in with two black eyes and this jacked up ear and be like, what the fuck is
That's
this
some
guy
Fight
doing?
Club shit. Remember Edward Norton going to the office?
Exactly.
He's just beating up?
Yeah, 100%. So there's techniques to deal with it. Draining it. So if you're not afraid of needles. So for that 6 months, I was draining my ear 3 times a day. So I'd get like a little hypodermic needle for like insulin. So I'm pretty sure my pharmacist thought I was like a heroin addict or I was on steroids, but I was never like big enough to be on steroids. But and the first time I went, I was like, oh, I need a 5/8 25 gauge needle with like a 2 millimeters or 2 milliliter syringe. It's like, oh, what do you need that for? I was like, oh, my ear. And I showed them my ear and it was like swollen. Like I had like half a plum hanging on the side of my head.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you need to go to the doctor. I was like, no, I don't. I'm going to go to the doctor and do the exact same thing I'm going to do. Like I've been dealing with this for so long. And you poke it and you suck out all the fluid and the inflammation goes down. You put a cool compress and then it will start to slowly heal.
But like if eventually there's a point where it can't heal, right?
Well, it will like slowly grow. So once we're done, I'll take the headphone off and I'll let you like touch my ear and you can feel where the cartilage broke, and it is fatter and it is harder, and because that fluid eventually like congeals basically.
Right.
So you can slow it down, you can control it. Some people don't get it at all. Honestly,
What about yeah, I don't know. You ever thought about doing like boxing or anything like that?
Yeah, my gym does kickboxing twice a week. It's not our primary focus. Our school is like a more traditional Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, so strike-based self-defense focus. So everything that we do implements striking. So when we're practicing takedowns, you implement striking. When we're rolling, we're allowed to slap each other. So it's kind of this, I wouldn't say new. Yeah, it's called combat jiu-jitsu. So
nice.
The jiu-jitsu as a sport has gone to a point where you can win by points. And that's where I think a lot of people ask, like, why hasn't like jiu-jitsu exploded like collegiate wrestling, which also has a point system, but it's in a gi, like you can grab someone, hold them, and not put yourself in any dangerous situations, just ride out the clock. So I'd be like, oh, I got this takedown. I know I'm up 2 points. I'm going to get you down. I'm just going to fucking hold you so that you can't score any points. I'm not going to try and submit you. I know you can't submit me, and I'll ride out the next 3 minutes and I'll win. Hooray. In combat jiu-jitsu, if you're in that position, if someone's holding me, I'm allowed to slap them. So I can't like punch them, open hand. I can start hitting them in the face to symbolize like if this was a street fight and you were doing this to me, I could be punching you right now and do some serious damage. And what that does is it forces your opponent to start moving. So like I can't hold you here where I'm safe from a submission because I'm getting hit in the face. So I need to scramble. And when you scramble, you create some space, and that opens up opportunities for submissions or position transitions.
Nice.
So our school is pretty strike focused. We practice, strike defense, a lot of it, and then the kickboxing piece twice a week as well. So
dope, man. That's awesome. Yeah, because I do a lot of boxing right now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm no... you saw my technique. I've like no training on it, nothing.
For self-taught, you've come a long way. So
yeah,
that's for
appreciate
sure.
that, man. But I just love hitting that bag, dude.
It's a great release.
I love getting in there, putting on the gloves. I put the clock on for 45 minutes, and I just go until I hear that buzzer in my ear. You know what I mean? Just 45 minutes.
What do you think about when you're doing that?
Oh man, just like the music's going. I'm listening to like Tomorrowland live, right? Like Tiesto. Like I'm just like listening to like a live rave, and I'm just there. I'm just fucking. I'm like dancing a little bit. It's fun, man. Like I'm not angry or anything like that, right? But I'm just like I'm into it. And then towards like the last 15 minutes, I'm like this different human being where I'm in there and I'm like giving it to the bag. I'm kicking it. I'm fucking kneeing it. I'm elbowing it. I'm like, where's this coming from, man?
Just a release,
like, am I a gladiator in another lifetime?
Quite possible.
I'm kind of like hyping myself up, like when I'm on the bag, right? But I think for me, man, like what I would really enjoy is I think taking like an actual boxing class.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it.
You know, not sparring. Like I'm not looking to ever fight anyone on the street. I have no desire to ever fight anyone. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to when I think about boxing, like I don't even care about getting in the ring with someone. But a small part of me just wants to really embrace it because it's such good exercise.
Oh, it's incredibly
like my mind,
intensive.
dude. My mind is like so like I'm gonna go to the gym after this. I'm gonna go boxing, do some skipping, and my whole day is clear. I'm clear headed, man, and I'm just like I'm just so relaxed, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's the benefit you get from any martial art. And I like talk shit on some martial arts, but I think at the end of the day, you're getting out, you're activating your mind and your body, and you're pushing it to do something. There's that physical release that I think a lot of people are looking for. It's funny that you talked about dancing. So I hated dancing. Like as a kid, we had school dances. I was that guy who was like super self-conscious,
right?
Chilling in the corner, be like, I can slow dance because I can do like the grade 9 shuffle. And my wife loves to dance. So for the longest time, we would go out, and I'd be like, yeah, we can go out. And I'm not a jealous person, so she'd go out and she would dance, and I'd be chilling, like talking, and she'd be.
That's because you know jiu-jitsu now.
Well, yeah. Even before when I was
hey
like,
man, you touch my girl, I'm gonna fuck you up.
It's not even like there is a part of that. So one of the stories I like to talk about like being positive and in a committed relationship, where we were at the Calgary Stampede and we were at this like country bar, and I hate country music. It's the only music that I really don't like. But she wanted to go, and I was like, well, I don't want you to not do something fun because I don't want to do it. So I'm like, I'll suck it up and I'll go. And we had some friends, and she's like, I'm going to go dance. I was like, fuck, I'm not dealing with that shit. So she was like chilling and dancing, and like some guy starts dancing with her. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. And then, you know, they dance for a few songs, and he goes to kiss her, and she stops him. And
she goes to kiss? Oh,
no,
wow.
He goes to kiss her, right?
Yeah,
so I think about if I'm in his perspective, here's this attractive woman that you're dancing with. You don't know that she didn't have a ring on at the time. And she stops him, is like, that's my boyfriend. And I'm like watching this, and he turns around and looks at me, and he's like, oh, fuck. And I was like, I'm chill. Like, you stopped.
Yeah.
If you would have kept trying to kiss her, I'd been like, fuck you, man, then we would have a problem. But I was like, I can't get mad at you for not knowing.
But do you think that you were that way in that situation because you are physically fit, you're really confident in yourself, you're doing jiu-jitsu, like you're like, dude, I don't even like what?
It's one of those, I think it is one of those weird things where when you learn how to fight and to survive under that pressure, where people are like, oh, if you learn to fight, you're going to always look for a fight. And that's not really the case. It's more of you just know how to handle yourself in that situation. So you're not as like physically threatened. I think a lot of bar fights happen from guys who are insecure.
Well, I was going to say, man, your confidence, like whatever it is, your confidence is just so high that you're just like, nah, he made a mistake. It's fine. Yeah. That's cool.
And he stopped. He was respectful.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that was like a moment where I was like, maybe I should figure out how to dance. So to tie it into the circle of your boxing and dancing, when I first was like, I'm going to try and dance.
Right.
I literally had this moment where I was like trying to like dance. I was like watching videos, like secretly, like I want to, show my wife that I'm trying.
Right.
And then I had this moment where I was like, what if I just do boxing drills? What if I just like stand there and I'm like fake throwing, and it's like I'm dancing, but in my head I'm like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2.
Right.
And like I just started doing like punching combos, and people were like, oh, you're like moving your hips and shit.
Yeah.
And that's where I started getting my confidence. And now I'm at the point where I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll go and dance, and I'll look stupid, and I'll like shake my ass. I'm like,
yeah,
just live your life and have fun, right?
Dude, you should try making a dumb Instagram video, and it goes viral. Because then you'll just be like, oh, well, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
Just throw yourself out there.
Dude, I tell everyone to do this. Anyone that has any kind of like confidence issues, even like if you care about getting judged a little bit on stage or whatever it is, whatever kind of thing it is, do an improv class.
Yeah, I tried that. I remember grade 9, I took a drama class, and hearing you talk about the power of improv, like that'd be something that would probably be helpful. You think about public speaking and thinking on your feet and being able to carry a conversation. I don't think there's a better place to learn that.
There's no better place, because you're going on stage, you're thinking of something while you're trying to make people laugh. Mm-hmm. Like think about how much pressure is on you. Like you're going to look like you're either going to be really good or you're going to be really shitty. Mm-hmm. And you got to own it.
So staying on this track, we were talking about improv in one of your earlier podcasts, and you said you have to do stuff that humbles you. And why I want you to do jiu-jitsu is because nothing is more humbling than going, and literally for the first year, you're just getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like just being crushed by pressure, being controlled, and as like you're a super, obviously really physically fit guy, and you'll come across that 155-pound dude who wears glasses and is really unassuming, and he will just dominate your life.
Up.
And you're just like, what the fuck is going on,
dude? I know exactly what you're saying, man. I'm a huge UFC fan,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, if I would have saw, I mean, DC's a big dude, he's bigger, right? If I would have saw him in the bar or whatever, I'd be like, oh, this guy does no cardio.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
This
what
guy?
is this guy? He's the best in the world.
Yeah, that's.
Well, maybe second best in the world.
Well, we could get into that a little bit. I love DC, and I love his style. I like who he is as a person. But it's a great example of like the peak human form. I loved when he beat Stipe, and it was like, here is like, this is the peak male form. And it was this like kind of dad bod dude who was like
dad bod, man.
I call it like fat fit. And that's how I've like lived definitely the last little while, where people are like, oh, you're kind of big. You clearly you work out, but you have a little bit of extra like here and there, and be like, okay, well, come roll. And I can do like 20-minute rounds. And they're like, what the fuck? It's like, well, you also, jiu-jitsu teaches you about energy conservation and how to control yourself and be relaxed. So when you first start, everyone sees it as this like two bulls just like crashing into each other, and you're super intense, you're going fast, and you're spazzing, you're pushing. And then you get to a point where you're like, I just get really tired when I do that. And then I don't have the strength to actually defend myself. So then you start learning how to slow down and conserve, and especially in a gi, like the traditional like kimono, there's ways like to grab, and you can do some cool chokes and you can control. But if you like grab and you just like full tension all the time, your forearms burn out, your fingers burn out, you like start losing fingernails. And then you learn like, well, if he's doing this, do I need to like lock down hard? Do I need to go 100%? Like, no, I can maybe go 30%. And then if he moves, then I know I have the strength to quickly, lock down. So it teaches you like how to live under pressure, being humbled, energy conservation, and really knowing like when your opportunity is. Timing is huge in jiu-jitsu. So you'll see like a lot of UFC. You go to like a UFC event in a bar, and you see a guy like who gets mounted, and so he's like taking shots. We're like, oh, just like sweep him. Well, that's his goal, obviously. Like if he's in that ring, he knows what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But you can't just go and do that immediately. Sometimes you need to ride out that wave of shit to get that moment, to get your opponent to be just slightly off balance enough where you can say, okay, here's my chance to trap and roll. But people don't know that until you're in that spot.
Right.
And you probably felt it too in your boxing rounds, where people are like, oh, just put your hands up. Like, look how low his hands are.
Yeah.
Like, until you do that, you sit there and you're like, that fighter is like, my hands are up right now. And there may be like at his chest or at his waist, but in his head, because he's so tired, he's like, my hands are up.
Right.
And if you're not there, like doing that bag work or sparring, you don't realize how exhausting that is.
Right.
Like a lot of people in jiu-jitsu early will submit just from exhaustion.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Like
totally.
I can't, like, not that you're choking me, I can't breathe. I'm just so gassed that like I don't want to do this anymore.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like when I started hitting the bag hard this year, and I could go maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I'd be like,
which is still a really good pace. Like you think about pro boxers are doing 3-minute rounds, and then have minute rest in between. Like that's a really good pace. Yeah,
but like, and maybe I'm kind of exaggerating, but it was like, like going like semi hard on the bag.
Yeah, still, if you do anything for 15 minutes straight, any kind of movement.
Yeah, and you're kind of just like, you're gassed, right?
Yeah.
But I started making running a thing for me, and then I started hitting the bag a lot more. And now I can literally go 45 minutes on the bag.
Yeah,
like just go, man. I can just go nonstop, and it's the best feeling, dude.
Your skipping skills. When you showed that video of you skipping, I was like, what the fuck is this monster? Like we were talking about, you said like you looked at me as like a childhood influence, and then I'm looking at these videos, and I remember as a kid I would like get into something because I was the oldest one on our block, and be like, I'm gonna get into BMXing, and then like had some friends come, and then you do, and I'd be like, you'd pull out your bike and be like, here's how you wheelie, and then like the next week you'd be like wheeling down our block like better than everyone, like this fucking kid, and then it'd be like, okay, here's a skateboard, and you'd be like, I learned how to heel flip. I was like, I can't even fucking heel flip. I never learned how to properly heel flip on a skateboard, and I skateboarded for years. It just was not there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, to me, you were like that kid, like whatever you put in your hands, like you figured it out.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's incredible talent. So like to self-teach yourself boxing or acting or whatever it is, like you're motivated, you do it. And I think that's like super inspirational even for me now when I think about,
oh fuck, man, that's awesome, man.
Content creation and like our podcast and what we do and what I'm trying to do on like social media or what I'm sharing. I look at your shit, I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome. Or to be able to put yourself in those skits. Like you talk like, oh, I want to do these comedic skits. And It's like, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And courage, and then the skill to like have that vision. To me, I think that's incredible.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Yeah, if it
Full
wasn't
circle.
if it wasn't for you, I would have smashed my teeth, which, by the way, scarred me forever. I remember that day, man, where I was riding that BMX bike, and I don't know if you were there. I don't know.
I remember it now. Yeah.
And I just remember falling off my bike. I don't know what the fuck. I was putting we had the old school BMXs, right? So we'd put my foot in the front of the tire
to do the Western wheelies.
To do the what was it?
Endos.
Endos, yeah. And I just went over far, and I fucking just smashed my teeth, man. And it was, dude, I got veneers. I got 2 veneers right here.
Oh yeah, they're pretty teeth though.
They're good though. Yeah, they're not bad. But man, I remember just like coming inside, and my dad was just like, "What the fuck did you do?" And I remember like 2 days before that, he was always like, don't break your teeth. He'd always remind me, don't break your teeth.
It's always the teeth.
It's always the teeth, man.
Yeah, I had braces when I was 18, and my mom like invested quite a bit of money to fix my teeth. And as soon as I started getting into like any other sport, she's like, "You're gonna fuck up your smile."
Yeah.
And I haven't lost any teeth yet.
You're good smile. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Though I do have I have weird teeth dreams all the time. And I think it's partially because I'm so worried about, like, I wear a mouth guard.
You do? Okay. I was going to ask you that.
Through all jiu-jitsu. When I first started going, I'd wear it when I'd roll or whatever. And if we were drilling, I wouldn't. And then a couple times, you're practicing a technique and someone moves the wrong way. You turn your head the wrong way and you catch a knee in the face. And it's not like super hard, but it's enough to you just bite yourself and you're like, oh, okay. So now I wear a mouth guard all the time, but now I'm super stressed because I don't want braces again. I don't want to deal with
no, you don't want to do that, man.
A busted tooth.
Yeah.
So I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Like I had a dream that my tooth fell out. Like, why am I having these fucking dreams?
Right.
So.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, fucking even gets me just sketched out talking about it. Yeah, I would always wear a mouth guard constantly.
Yeah, mouth guard, definitely.
Always. Every kind of activity I do, man, mouth guard. Even swimming, let's wear a mouth guard. I'm fucking sketched out about it. Because, oh man, yeah.
Those are some of the worst injuries. So.
Yeah, dude. But hey, John, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I think it's been a blast.
It's been an hour already, eh?
It's been an hour, yeah.
Fucking zipped right by.
I'm going to have your link for your podcast in the description. I think everyone should check it out. You're a funny guy.
And my moments,
Yeah, and you're really, honestly, man, you're really insightful in the martial art industry, and I think that's becoming more of a thing now. And I think a lot of people, what they're doing is they're listening to a lot of these professionals talk. And it's hard to. I mean, if you talked about how you were as a teenager right now, your mindset's you're not a teenager, so it's hard for you to really, touch base on what it's been like as a teenager.
Yeah.
But you are someone that's not, you're not professional.
No, far from.
But you have a passion for the sport, and I think everyone should check you out and listen to you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. John, thanks for coming.
Pleasure,
I appreciate
buddy.
you.
Take care.
And there it is, from one Zac to another. Great podcast, guys. Really appreciate Zac sitting down with Jonny and letting Jonny sort of pimp out the podcast. Boy, Jonny, you know how to talk about the podcast for way too long. No, we really appreciate it, and anytime we can talk about our little bitty tiny podcast with somebody who's doing pretty well in the podcasting game, hey, we're all about it. So Zac, thanks a lot, man. And like Jonny said, we're gonna get you in. Plan is for next week, and let's hope that that plan actually fleshes itself out. Because as you guys know, with Jumbled, you never actually know. It could be something completely different. It could happen in 3 weeks. We never know. But that's what's beautiful about podcasting. That's what's beautiful about this podcast specifically. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interview that Zac so graciously let us use. Thanks a lot. The audio sounds great. It must be a Zac thing. I don't know. But let's just wrap this thing up, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to catch us on social media, you can do so by visiting any website, any social media website, and just searching for Jumbled Podcast. We're there. We're everything but like Snapchat. I think we're on Snapchat, but I just never have done anything because I have a hard time even using Snapchat for myself. I answer Jonny sometimes. Joe sometimes will send me something. It's usually like a video of his dog. And then my wife sends me stuff on there. So that's really it. So you can imagine our Snapchat presence is not that great. But we're everywhere else, and if you guys want to follow us, that'd be great. At least just to know that there's going to be a link posted every week on Wednesday that you guys can click on to get back here if you're not already subscribed. But you should be subscribed, and you can listen to us anywhere you like. iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Player.fm, SoundCloud. Actually, not SoundCloud. I slipped back a year in time. That we're not on SoundCloud. Don't go there. Unless you just want to hear our message where we told you, hey, we're not here anymore. Stitcher, I said that already. Spotify, that's the one. There's so many podcast platforms. Head over to any one of those and continue listening, subscribe wherever you are. But please find your way back to iTunes. Give us a rating and review. It helps get our name out, helps us climb up higher in the ranks, and helps potential advertisers see our name so we can keep offering you guys cool new things for you to try out at a discounted rate. And who doesn't love that? If you want to send us any emails, that would be jumbledpodcast@gmail.com or johnny.jumbled@gmail.com. Hopefully we have an influx of emails and users or new people who are coming to the podcast. We really appreciate you. Feel free to go back through the catalog of episodes. This is 104. Man, hard to believe. But this is it, guys. This is it. I'm trying to think. Oh, thanks to our sponsor, Audible. How could I forget Audible? Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get that free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. It's a great thing for you to do. If you don't like reading, hey, just listen to it. Listen to your favorite authors, your favorite comedians, whoever, read you a story. Because you know what? Every once in a while, everybody likes slipping back into, it's almost like being a kid again where you're getting read to. And who doesn't love that? It's all the greatness of getting a story and none of the eye pain that comes from straining and looking at a book. That's where I am with reading. You might be in a different spot, but hopefully you can enjoy our good buddies over at Audible anyway. Again, that's audibletrial.com/jumbled and get that free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. If you want to get me and Johnny an address, you can do so by going over to patreon.com/jumbled and donate. I think it's a $500 tier. Obviously, that one will never be donated to, but I'm going to continue saying it because I'm hoping that there's somebody out there with $500 just burning a hole in their pocket. Hey, we will gladly take it. We will use it. And I promise you, there will be video evidence of us in dresses. This isn't bullshit. We're not going to steal your money and not provide what we said. So yeah, that's it, guys. We will see you guys next week with Zac Klassen, hopefully, for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast about two really gorgeous, beautiful guys. And I'm not talking about me. Go over to the YouTube video and check that out. Link will be in the description of the podcast. We'll see you guys.